Alright, getting to this place is freaking crazy. Let me just show you. Look at this. Herma Mora's shrine is all the way up here in the very edge of the map in the Gerald Mountains, where the Colovian Highlands and the Gerald Mountains come together. And if you try to cut west from Bruma, there's no way. This is like Mount Everest stuff. So you got to go clear down around. You got to ride. There's some really cool bridges that follow the mountains. Highly recommend doing that ride. It's awesome. And once again, we're so close to Skyrim. Herma Mora, Prince of Forbidden Knowledge, shown as a Morpheus blob with crab tentacles and giant eyes. He's very disturbing. He can take on a lot of forms, but... Okay, I guess we'll go talk to him. I wonder what offering I need for him.
I see you have served my brethren, and now you come to serve me. I am Herma Mora. Past, present, and future are as one to me. My followers seek to perform a divination. For this, they need souls. One of each of the sanctioned races. You will provide these. I give you a spell to trap these souls. Return to me when you have finished. When you do, I will further your journey on your true path.
Herma Mora wishes for me to gather him 10 souls, one of each of the races. And then it gives you Herma Mora Soul Gem. So, this is really interesting. Just really quick before I'm going to go do this off camera, because the best way to do this quest without being a bad person is go find bandits and keep killing bandit spawns until you get all 10 races. It's pretty doable. It's pretty doable. So, one thing that's interesting about Herma Mora is that it's argued that he might be the most powerful god in the Elder Scrolls because of his knowledge and because of his power. I don't think in any, if he's been involved in any confrontation ever, that anyone's really defeated him. See, here's the edge of the map, right freaking here. He's ultra powerful. Because what he does is he bids with mortals to get different types of knowledge. And he's helped a lot of different heroes and villains throughout the millennia. So like I said, every time I deal with Herma Mora in an Elder Scrolls game, makes me very, very, very nervous, because if there's one god who could actually defy the divines or the fellow Daedra or anyone, it would be him, because he has the knowledge. So, anyways, with that being said, let me go get us a soul of each kind. I guess we'll start. I just start at the Imperial City and ride this square of roads, because you'll run into tons of bandit highwaymen just doing that, and you can get quite a few of them that way. So, I'll be back. Okay, that was a little more tricky than I thought. Note to self, make sure you save before you cast the Herma Mora Soul Trap spell and try to kill him, because I found a bug where if you cast it on someone who's essential, it doesn't have a time expiration. So once you cast on him, you have to kill him. Otherwise, it won't let you remove it to a new target. And if you pick someone who's essential, who just gets knocked out and can't be killed, you have to load your save. There's no way to fix it that I found. So, just a heads up there. Alright, let's talk to this awful Daedra and move on with our lives. Usually has really good rewards, though.
You have served me well, and I am pleased. I give you this, the Agma Infinitum. Knowledge given by me to Xerxes is recorded within. Read it and gain knowledge of yourself. Go now, learn, and remember.
There you go. So Herma Mora was pleased with the souls I brought him. He rewarded me with the Agma Infinium. Now, Xerxes, that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day. Champion of Herma Mora, one of the greatest scholars who ever lived in the Elder Scrolls. He was a freak as far as his knowledge goes. But now we get this. Where's the Agma Infinium? This is a one-time read book. This is the book from which that man received all of his information. It's the book of infinite knowledge. And people have... The problem is people, when they find out how to get to Herma Mora's realm, they go there with the intention of seeking a certain bit of knowledge, but then they're surrounded by so much and they get so obsessed with it that they never leave, and then they turn into demented creatures like him. So, it's, you know, it's kind of like, be careful what you wish for. Right? Having all the knowledge in the universe corrupts you. So, let's go ahead and read this. Now, here's what's really cool. We get a choice of 3 paths, and these correspond with what skills go with what area we're studying. So, for example, I think it buffs your attributes, actually, in this game. So, the path of steel, that's going to do, like, strength, endurance, that sort of thing. Shadow's going to do agility, speed, and something else. Spirit is going to do, you know, all the magic-based stuff. Let's not read anything yet. Let's go look at our stuff. What do we want to... Oh, I need to fix our willpower, don't I? Let me do that quick so we can... Fix... Where is it? Fix willpower. Bam. Alright, cool. So that should be fixed. There it goes. So our agility with that ring on is 110. So we have some decisions to make here. What do we want to buff up? If we choose the path of spirit, if I'm remembering this correctly, it does our attributes. And it's a permanent bonus for the rest of the game. Never goes away. So we can do spirit, which would be intelligence, willpower, and maybe luck? No, that's probably under thief. No, I'm not sure. I know that steel should be strength, endurance. Maybe it's only 2, and then intelligence, willpower, and then speed, agility. Wonder what does personality and luck. Well, regardless, we have to ask ourselves what would be most beneficial to us going forward. I'm honestly going to say, as Zakeen gets a taste of more and more power, you know, not that he's becoming corrupted by it necessarily, but he really is interested in otherworldly things beyond, sometimes beyond just his bow or his sword. So something tells me we might want to go with that. But at the same time, we could get our speed over 100. That'd help us really start hauling around. You know what? I think we're going to do the path of the thief. And get our agility so we can't get knocked down as easy. And our speed up so we can move fast. So that just sounds like a good... At this point in the game, that sounds like a good all-arounder. Let's do the path of shadow. And just like that. Oh, we got another level? Hang on, hang on. That changes everything. No, it doesn't do attributes. It does skills. What? Why is it reading sneaks at 95 now? It gave us a freaking level up. Okay, hang on. So this is like Skyrim in that sense. Let me load our quick save and get us right back here. I want to see something. Okay. I'm back. Now let's take a look. So this actually does all the skills related to those things, not attributes. So what skills do we want to... I'll fix our willpower in a second. What skills do we want to raise? Because it gives us, I think, 10 levels in each. Kind of looking at what might be useful in our minor skills. I almost think we should do the path of steel, because athletics, regenerate fatigue faster, run and swim faster, and then also under athletics you have, that's under speed though. Hang on, let's look. Those are both under speed, so you'd think that picking the shadow would raise those. Let me do a quick save here, so we don't have to. I'll have to sit through Herma Mora's bull crap again. Let's try this out. So let's test this. If we do Augma Infinium, Shadow, level increase, we should meditate and see what we've learned. We go down here. See, that didn't affect athletics or acrobatics. It did apply to security, which who cares? We have the skeleton key. So yeah, for us, that's a waste. In my opinion, just totally not worth it. So let's go ahead and open our stats again, because our sneak is at 85. It's being drained. I wonder what's draining our sneak. That's really odd. Do we? Oh, I bet we have a freaking disease. Here, let's do a cure disease. I'll bet you we had a disease from, yep. It was a disease probably from when we went and did Mehrunes Raids, or one of those Khajiit slaves hit me and it gave me a disease. So that's what it was. Okay, much better. Well, honestly, if we have to pick something else, let's try the Path of Steel really quick. So let's just take a look at our movement speed. Alright. Pretty good, pretty good. Let's try the Path of Steel this time, shall we? You have lumps and bruises from long practice sessions with all kinds of axes and maces. You are now an apprentice with blunt weapons. Standing power attack. Okay, so that raised our weapon skills, obviously. So let's take a look at those. And I got a level up. Wow. Athletics didn't increase. Neither did acrobatics. That is odd. That is really, really odd. What did increase was heavy armor. Who cares? Blunt. Who cares? That hit 25. Actually, not 50. Huh, what an odd thing. Okay, let's load game one more time. I think we're going to go Path of Spirit, because the one thing we need to learn more than anything right now is we need to learn more about the ethereal magics, right? That's one thing Zakeen has found in recent months that he is very interested in. Not that he's a full-blown mage, but read the Path of Spirit. Fire, frost, and lightning have flowed from your fingertips. You are now an apprentice in destruction magic and cast apprentice-level destruction spells. Okay, and then we go look at our skills. So now, see, athletics and acrobatics can't be raised by the Ogma Infinium. That is interesting. So it doesn't work exactly how I thought it would work. But it did raise destruction. It raised our conjuration to 110. Alteration hit 89. That's good. And restoration's 110. So I gotta say, Zakeen's feeling kind of weird after reading the Ogma Infinium. There's just some odd desire to venture to places that don't quite seem real. But in the meantime, we can keep roaming around Tamriel here, Cyrodiil in particular. I want to show you a couple things here before we go to the last leg of our journey that really harken back to my early days with the game. These are some just cool little hidden things. There's no quest for these. And there's two things I want to show you in particular. Now, there are hundreds of things that are not a quest that we could, have this argument about. But these are two that, like I said, pertain directly to my time with the game. So let's start with the first one. This is really quite simple and quite fun. First of all, grab these Nirn roots that are here. Oh, I guess I better... Sometime I might want to show you guys before the end of this thing the Nirn root quest. I'll have to think about that one. I have to remember... I've been collecting them all Let's Play, and it just dawned on me. I didn't have any plans for that. Regardless, I'll think on it. Maybe I'll show you that one in a minute, too. Alright, so back to business here. In my early days of playing the game, my buddy Clint and I, he used to always play heavy armor orc, right? So I decided in my first Let's Plays I was going to do the opposite. I was going to do light armor and, like a human character or an elf. Technically orcs in this universe are elves. They're just elves that were changed after a certain god got devoured by Boethia, but that's a whole nother story. So... anyways, he had this thing. Now, remember, if you're an old school gamer, not even that old school, I'm not that old, but if you remember back, they had these things called game guides. You actually had to go in and buy them, and they were books you could buy. They were usually right there with the games when the games were being sold, and some of them were really cool. They would give you like all the hidden secrets or help you with strategies for beating the quests. What is attacking me? It's a freaking mud crab, isn't it? We're up here trying to tell a story. Okay, who wants to get wrecked? Really? I'll bet you if I go hidden, he'll lose me. Oh my gosh, I have to kill this mud crab. Where is he? There he is. What a joke. Back to story time. Sorry about that. And the game guides were just really cool. Well, Clint had one of these game guides for Oblivion. And to this day, I still wish I would have got a copy of one. They're out of production, have been for a long time. The few that I've seen are very expensive or highly used. And I just really wish I would have got one. Regardless, in that, it had a lot of good secrets. And it would give you strategies and whatnot, like I mentioned just a second ago. Well, one of those guys, in the guide, I remember he said, "Hey, Justin, I just read this thing in my guidebook. We should try it out." So he comes over to my house after school, and he's like, "Okay, go to this island by Anvil." So I went to this island right here. You want to go to the north end of it. Now, it's a little easier if you have something with water breathing. So I'm going to go ahead and take off Mundane Ring, put on Jewel of the Rumere. And you want to dive straight west off of the island into the water, and you want to start swimming down. And there'll be a cluster of rocks. And right here, there's a skeleton, and there's a helmet, a unique helmet. You can get this right from the beginning of the game. You could literally get out of the Imperial City sewer and go right to this place. So let's grab it. Fin Gleam, huh? Now this helmet and I gotta say, this makes me very nostalgic in the sense that almost every playthrough I ever had on the Xbox 360 back in the day, I always would get this helmet. And it drove Clint nuts, because he regretted showing me that, I think, a few times. And I'll show you why. So imagine we would sit there for hours watching each other play this game. And then I got this helmet. Now, this helmet is a glass helmet. However, it is not a true glass helmet. What I mean by that is, as you can see, a normal glass helmet does like 8 protection. This does about half. It could actually do like 9 or 10, but this one does about half or less. The reason for that is to balance it, because you can go get it from level 1. It'd be cheap if you could go get a top-end helmet right at the beginning of the game. Regardless, it's still pretty good. It's worth some money if you don't want it. But it's got water breathing constantly on self, night eye so you can see in the dark without a torch really well, and then detect life within 20 feet. So let's go ahead and put that on. Alright, looks like a normal glass helmet. This. The night eye constant effect makes your game look like this. Now, it's kind of cool. And it is kind of weird when you do a playthrough, because I did an entire playthrough once with, I think that character was a, was it a Dark Elf? I don't remember, but way back, I did an entire playthrough of the main quest, and the guilds, and the side story, and I wore this freaking helmet almost the entire time. And every time Clint would come over, I'd load that save file, and I still remember this day, he'd go, "Really? You're going to play the Fin Gleam guy?" Yes, Clint. I'm going to play the Fin Gleam guy. Good times, good times. By the way, I did swap back to our enchanted holy armor that we custom made from those Oblivion gates. And I got that really sweet hood from Mehrunes Razor that guy dropped. And put it on. Look at that. Resist normal weapons, reflect regular damage, and put some more armor on our guys. So, kind of neat. And I kind of miss the hooded look. I mean, it kind of just fits Sakine's kind of ranger-esque character. So, anyways, that helmet's really useful. If you're going to play this game, I highly recommend you come here early. And even if you don't wear it the whole time, if you're dungeon delving, it's awesome. Because you put it on, you can see through walls and see movement on people. And you never have to light a torch. So, especially if you're a stealth character, it's very useful. So, yeah, there you go. There's the first thing. Now, let's jump over here and go right into the second thing. This is one of my favorite things in an Oblivion game ever. I'm going to go to Lord Rogdumf's estate. Remember this orc with his excellent grammar and high linguistical skills? We're going to get on this horse. Now, we need to head east and a little bit north. So, what's interesting about this quest is that it ties back heavily. This is not, I should say, an unmarked quest. That's what this is. So there's no quest thing that says, like, you get it and it says, you started this quest. That just doesn't happen with this one. Alright? This one is purely, King's Crest Cavern. All my Elder Scrolls fans out there, we've spent many an hour in King's Crest Cavern in Cyrodiil grinding away. Getting our characters up to level. That used to be the place. Anyways, man, there's just nostalgia everywhere right now. Nostalgia everywhere. Focus, Justin, focus. So, this quest is unmarked. What's funny is, in the guide Clint had, if I remember the story correctly, this is how we got and we found this. He came to me one day, and I was playing an archer character, and, you know, we knew about Hatred's Soul. It was kind of just regarded as the best bow in the game, bar none. You want the best bow? You go get Hatred's Soul. Done. Well, he came to me and he said, hey, your guy's a little lower level, and that Oblivion gate's really hard. There's another bow that's pretty good for the mid-levels. So we should go get it. And I'm like, all right, what is it? And he's like, it's called the Frostworm bow. We're going to kill this wolf really quick, just because. It's going to take about one shot. There you go. So, I said, why is that? And he says, well, because it's an elven bow with higher stats than a regular elven bow, and it has frost damage. So I sat out on this quest. I said, where is it? He goes, it's in the very northeast corner at the highest point in the whole game, Dive Rock. Now, if you've killed the Adoring Fan from the arena over and over, or trolled yourself, or had competitions with your friend to see who could fall down a mountain the farthest, you've went to Dive Rock in this game, okay? Now, before I go any further, I have to tell you this story, because things are going to hit the fan here in a second if we're not careful. In fact, I'm going to leave my horse, because he could die. We're going to start sneaking. So, I was on this quest to get the bow. We got to Dive Rock. We went the other way from the west. So, see, Dive Rock is kind of right here-ish. And we came from, I guess it'd be the north. We climbed up the mountain with our horse, got up top, and I dismounted, and I found Dive Rock, and there's a little camp there. And it's got some interesting characters linked to it from the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind's expansion, Blood Moon. Blood Moon is what made me a Nord fan for life. I won't get into the whole story here, obviously, for time's sake, but amazing story. It was basically the game Skyrim with the Dragonborn DLC before that was ever even a twinkling in Bethesda's eye. So it's a pretty special thing. It's got a really special place in my heart as well. So in that DLC, there's a certain quest. Wow. You'll see why I said that in a second on accident. Quest involving a mead hall called Thirsk. And the mead hall is very special. There's some great events that happen there. And it's very important that you know that, because basically Thirsk Mead Hall is the link between what's about to happen and this unmarked quest that's awesome, and what we're about to see. And I'll summarize the journal for you here at the camp. I think we're just about there. Here it is. Okay. Now you're wondering, why are you sneaking? I promise it'll become evident here in just a moment. So I'm going to give you the short version of this, because this journal, I highly recommend, if you're into the lore, read Agnar's journal. In summary, in Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind expansion Blood Moon, the Thirsk Mead Hall quest, what happens is you come across, so the whole time you're doing the main quest, everything's fine. Like, the mead hall's there, there's some ornery Nords that live there, they kind of keep to themselves, they'll sell you mead, and that's about it. And they got a bunch of warriors that live there. Well, about 3/4 of the way through the main quest, an event happens, and during that event, a bunch of things on the island get changed. And when you come to Thirsk, it's been attacked, and everyone is dead. The whole mead hall's thrashed, and everyone is dead. And the only person left... Oh, hang on. Your vantage point of the top of Dive Rock offers a rare view of the Imperial Province. You take note of a few dungeons and mark their locations. That's right. If you come up here early, it marks a bunch of dungeons across the land on your map, just so you know. It's kind of neat. Anyways, so back to my story here. The only survivor is this girl, and her name is Savania or something like that. She's a Nord. I'm going to look at her name really quick in the journal. Hang on, that's going to bug me. I should know this, because it's one of my favorite quests ever. Svenja Snowsong, that's what it is. So she survives. She tells you there's a great monster that came from beneath the lake, and it killed everyone. And I'm the only one left. So you being the bad A, Nerevar, hero of Morrowind, you go into this underground lake cavern, and you find it. And it's a unique troll-like creature called the Uderfight. It's an exact parallel of our real-life world story of Beowulf. So you go, you kill him, you lob his arm off, come back to Thirsk, restore the mead hall, and she lives there and becomes your advisor, and you're the head of the mead hall, and you can order mead from Skyrim, and you get money every so often. It's really neat. It kind of gives you a place that you own in the game, one of the places you can own. And so anyways, the story of Agnar is that after your character wanders off because he's on a bunch of adventures, you know, which makes sense, he comes and becomes the leader of the mead hall, meets her, falls in love with her, and they get married. And then, but she keeps having nightmares for years about the Uter fight. And finally, being the Nord warrior she is, she decides that the only way she's going to get through it is to find where that beast came from. She has to know that even though that one's dead, there's no question about that, where did it come from? So she starts looking all across Tamriel for scholars, and finally she discovers that it comes from an Uter matron. And the matron lives between she lives between southern Skyrim and western Morrowind and northern Cyrodiil. So the journal tells you they pack up all their belongings, they move out here, or they come out on this adventure kind of hastily. They want to kill this thing, and they track it all the way from Skyrim, and finally they get to the mountains up here. And they talk to a local who says a bunch of there's a legend about a monster up here. So they come up to Dive Rock. Then they find it, then they engage it, and it instantly lobs his wife's head off and eats her whole. So she's dead. Just eats her completely whole with the bow and everything. She's the wielder of Frostworm. And he runs away, writes in his journal, and says, I'm so ashamed of myself. I couldn't do anything. Like, I couldn't hurt it. My silver axe did absolutely nothing to it. And her Frostworm bow, because it's frost and you're fighting a troll, did nothing. And the monster is kind of weird. It shimmers. They talk about how it shimmers and all these different things. Well, essentially, it's a special breed of troll. And there's been the one in Morrowind Blood Moon. There's been the one that I'm about to hunt and take down just now, the matron. And then in Skyrim, a lot of people miss this reference. I really do think the average Skyrim player had no freaking idea, because Skyrim picked up a lot of new people, which is fine. But in the Dark Brotherhood quest towards the end, you actually go into a cave to clear it out, and the Uter fight is in there, and it's one of her kin. That's where the monster comes from. Everyone's like, why is there this weird, unique troll boss fight? That's what it is. So anyways, it's just really cool. It gives some closure. He talks about how he's going to go fight the Uter fight because it's going to track him back to the camp, and he has to do it to be with his wife in Sovngarde, and it's kind of a depressing story. So, I came here in the day on purpose because the Uter fight sometimes is really hard to see. Now, sometimes there's I don't know if it's a glitch or what, where it'll shimmer in the daylight and you can see it. But at night, this thing is like a glowing monster. You can see it from like 10 miles away. Now, we gotta find it. It's usually down here somewhere. I love this part of the map. Especially with our epic music playing in the background. Where are you, Uter fight? Right down here should be where it's at. So we want to look. There it is. There it is. See? There's Angmar, or whatever his name is. So we're going to take it down. Now, this is going to look insanely easy because of our gear. I'll bet I can 2-shot right now. 3-shot, my bad. Ragdoll. Oh, did it kill itself by rolling down? That's funny. Okay, the fall from going from up there to down here killed it. Anyways, it looked really easy. At low level, this thing will rock your world. I came up here the first time expecting to get a free bow and just got rocked. So here's the Frostworm bow. Gives frost damage. It's that unique elven bow. It's really nice. We should have probably gotten this early in their playthrough, but it just wasn't in the cards. And here's Agnar with his silver axe. So he can go to Sovngarde, and his wife's remains are inside the troll. So kind of sad. I can't remember if him and his wife are in a certain place. I don't want to spoil anything for you non-Skyrim people. But I think towards the end you get to go to a special place. And I can't remember if they're in there or not. But there's a lot of people from Blood Moon that are. So it's kind of interesting. So anyways, there's two very old school nostalgic little hidden things I always used to do in my playthroughs of Oblivion.